Welcome into Austin Live. We are coming at you on the Fox local app here from the Fox 7 Austin newsroom. Of course, in our new time slot that we've had over the last several weeks, coming at you from 6:30 to 7:30. You can always watch us right here on the Fox local app. You can also watch us on YouTube live as well. You just go to our page, Fox 7 Austin. You go to that live page, hit that tab. You can watch all episodes there for a complete hour. As I mentioned, we are unscripted. I won't say unfiltered. That would be fun, though. But we are unscripted on this post-Super Bowl Monday, a day a lot of you have probably called out of work. Seems kind of dead around here. And I know a lot of you wish that the day after the Super Bowl was basically a holiday. Maybe one day they'll figure it out and say, you know what, maybe we just make this a 3-day weekend. Because I've always said, why not make the Super Bowl President's Day weekend? You can celebrate it then move that all the way into that Monday, and people get that Monday off. Just a thought. But then the NFL playoffs will be a little bit longer. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl. Later in the show, I do want to talk a little bit about the Bad Bunny halftime show because a lot of you out there had your opinions about it. I know a lot of people very excited about it. It broke records. It was the most viewed halftime show in the history of the Super Bowl. So congrats to the Seahawks, congrats to Bad Bunny, and I think the entire San Francisco community kicked butt when it came to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60, by the way. Before we get into some other major headlines regarding the Epstein files and regarding Nancy Guthrie, who is still missing. More than a week into this thing, Nancy Guthrie still missing, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. I do want to get some quick notes in here to Austin ISD parents and students. As we've seen over the last several weeks, a lot of anti-ICE protests, a lot of people coming out, walking out of classrooms, and that really caused a lot of problems for not only parents and teachers, but we even saw government officials as well. Governor Greg Abbott coming out and saying, hey, this cannot happen. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick upset about it. Ken Paxton upset about it. So the entire GOP base really frustrated by all of these walkouts. And so the Austin ISD Superintendent, Matias Segura, has given us an update. It is a little lengthy. I won't read through the whole thing, but it's just some new guidelines that started today, Monday, February 9th. So he admits here, he goes, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen an uptick in student-led protest against immigration policies and enforcement. We have managed past walkouts by giving students space and freedom to express themselves. However, the number of protests combined with demonstrations moving off campus has prompted our leaders to develop more detailed protest protocols. So here's what we have. Number one, on-campus walkouts within 300 feet of the building will be monitored by administrators and Austin ISD police. If a walkout moves more than 300 feet from campus, administrators and staff will remain on campus. Law enforcement will follow students to monitor for safety. Once off campus, local law enforcement will monitor students. So some changes there. Obviously, they're trying to really get a hold on this because we saw Governor Greg Abbott basically saying, hey, if you don't get a handle on this, this could affect funding, this could affect how you guys operate, and certainly not a situation that Superintendent Matias Segura wants to deal with, and having all of these kids, hundreds of kids, walk out during the middle of class. They do recognize they have their right to, freedom of speech, but it sounds like here they're saying, hey, you can have that freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean freedom without consequences. We saw Hayes CISD come out very strong the next day after their walkouts and basically say, hey, you can have your kid leave, but you got to come and sign them out. And so that could be a whole headache in itself. So we have seen some different changes here. He says, additionally, this is Matias Segura, once again, the Austin ISD Superintendent. We have communicated staff expectations to all Austin ISD employees in alignment with the Texas Education Agency. Staff are not permitted to participate in, help plan, provide guidance, or endorse these student-sponsored activities unless directed to do so for safety and monitoring purposes only. Teachers are directed to remain in class with students who do not participate in the walkout. We did see some students, not Austin ISD, but some of those Hayes CISD students said, yeah, our teachers told us we could leave, but they said as soon as we walk out that door, we are not allowed back into the classroom. So I assume similar situation here. It goes on to say staff are encouraged to exercise their constitutional rights to participate in political activity, campaigning, running for office, registering voters, displaying, but should not do so on their time or by taking leave. Board policy, DGA, employee rights and privileges, freedom of association. Goes on to say, thank you for support of Austin ISD. Matias Segura here, superintendent. So some changes, obviously them trying to deal with these anti-ICE walkouts, and certainly it's been a headache for these superintendents and for these teachers as well. Obviously, we'll continue to monitor it if anything like that happens. Personally, there's a middle school not too far from where I live. I saw those kids walking out in the middle of the day as well. So not only are they walking out, they're carrying signs, they've got drums, they've got whistles. I mean, it's rather organized for some of these students, but I think some of the other students just seeing it as an excuse to leave. We also saw a note come in from the governor's office saying that during all of this with Hayes CISD, a middle schooler, a 12-year-old, got lost on his way home. And so they were saying, hey, this is something that indirectly is affecting another student, right? So obviously concerns there, but we'll continue to monitor it. To my knowledge, I don't think there were any anti-ICE walkouts today. If there were, didn't see them, and or we were not notified about them. So back to the top story, obviously. This has nothing to do with Central Texas, but this is a story that has certainly gripped the national spotlight. We have seen so many different theories as to what's happening. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie still missing more than a week now. She didn't show up to church on that Sunday, last Sunday, and all of a sudden we're heading into day 7 and 8 here of this. Now, there was another deadline that just passed about 35 minutes ago, and I do want to take you guys, I hope it's not there anymore. There was a live shot that we had out there in Tucson, and it was sort of like a flight level above Nancy Guthrie's home, but as I mentioned, I'm not seeing that there anymore. So if that changes, I'll let you guys know, but we did have a view overhead. We've seen a lot of police activity over the last 48 hours there. We even saw over the weekend, prior to us coming into our shows here for the weekend shows, we saw the Fox flight team overhead with a helicopter and basically looking for more evidence from what we assume, and they were also looking into a septic tank. So not quite sure what they were doing, but we've seen cars come in and out for days now. It looks like we do have a shot here. This is outside the home. And now last week when I talked to you guys on Wednesday, we did see some activity. We saw a reporter there from Tucson of the Fox affiliate. I think her name is Kaylee Butter. She was giving us an update saying police were going back into the home, reopening, this crime scene. We've seen a lot of people critical of this entire situation, saying Sheriff Chris Nanos opened it, then closed it. It's been contaminated. You're having people come in and out. It looks as though they don't have the resources and or the experience to deal with something like this. So then the FBI is coming in. And we've heard a lot of political commentary about this. We've heard a lot, I shouldn't say political commentary. We have heard a lot of commentary about this. And we've seen from Fox News, they've got legal experts on this saying this is what should have been done. Monday morning quarterbacking, and certainly I think Chris Nanos just feeling overwhelmed out there in Pima County. So that is outside Nancy Guthrie's home, the 84-year-old who is still missing. And so because of that deadline, we were told that the captors, the alleged captors or captor, we're demanding $6 million in Bitcoin from the Guthrie family. Now, we saw a couple days ago Savannah sitting down with her siblings saying, we are willing to pay. It was a rather odd video. They were basically saying, we want to celebrate with her. I'm not quite sure what that means, celebrate with Nancy Guthrie. And they said, this is important to us. This is of value to us. So some legal experts, some former FBI negotiators coming on Fox News and saying, does this mean that she is deceased? And they're saying, we want to celebrate her, meaning bring her back home, have a celebration of life. What does this mean? Are these key words, code words that are being used to communicate with the captors? We don't know. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions. And of course, law enforcement is not going to tell everybody everything. That would essentially ruin their investigation. As we are watching, this is live television for you. There's a person walking their dog, and they just went to the bathroom right there. So I'll switch off of that. But that's outside Nancy Guthrie's home there, the 84-year-old who's still missing. I do want to show you guys a new video from her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, which was released today. And TMZ putting this up. TMZ, by the way, have to give them props. That is a Fox property. Obviously, Harvey Levin and his crew over there has done an outstanding job covering this thing. They are actually getting some of these letters from the alleged captors. So they have been really at the forefront of this, trying to put out as much information as possible, talking to the FBI, talking to local law enforcement to try and figure out what is going on and where is Nancy Guthrie. So here's the most recent video now from Savannah, as I mentioned, the Today Show host talking about her mother. We'll listen in.
Hi there, everybody.
I don't hear that.
I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare.
There we go.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
So that was Savannah Guthrie talking there, and as you could hear her end it there, saying we are at an hour of desperation. Obviously, when she posted this video, it was before that 5 o'clock deadline local time there in Tucson, which was 6 o'clock our time here in Texas. I do want to read some information from our Fox station, Fox 10 in Phoenix. They've been covering this as well. Just to reiterate, based on what they know, that alleged 5 p.m. Monday deadline loomed as the family of the 84-year-old offered to pay a $6 million Bitcoin ransom for her safe return. Several news outlets reported receiving ransom notes demanding cryptocurrency in exchange for her return. While investigators ruled out one of those notes to be fake, the FBI says one of the unverified notes contains 2 deadlines, the one on February 9th and one at 5 p.m. on February 5th. Both of those have passed. According to the Associated Press, law enforcement officials declined to affirm that the letters were credible, but said all tips were being investigated seriously. We've seen vigils for Nancy Guthrie. We have seen so many people reaching out. The Pima County Sheriff's Office even had to come out and say, hey, you cannot call us and our tip line just to offer your prayers and condolences. We certainly appreciate it, but we have so much going on right now. We are just trying to get ahead of this. And I'll go live again. This is outside of the home. As you can see, no activity that we've usually seen outside of the home. We saw many trucks and cars coming in and out over the last several days. We saw reporters out there. There's been lines of cars out there as well, waiting to hear any sort of information. We did see the Pima County Sheriff's Office put out a statement earlier. I do want to show you guys that, just to give you guys an update in terms of what they're saying. And another interesting part of this, and I know it probably shouldn't matter, but Chris Nanos, the Pima County Sheriff, was seen at a University of Arizona college basketball game during this investigation a couple days ago. So a lot of people were critical of him, saying you shouldn't be out doing something like this until this case has been resolved or you've gained some sort of, evidence as to what exactly is going on. So this is an account that we've been following. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, they've been quite busy dealing with this Nancy Guthrie case. So this was 50 minutes ago. They said investigators have not identified any suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles connected to Nancy Guthrie. Anyone who believes they have information that may assist investigators is asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI or the PCSD non-emergency line at 520-351-4900 or 88-CRIME. 3 minutes before that, they said, there are no press briefings scheduled at this time regarding Nancy Guthrie. Should a significant development occur, a press conference will be called and media will be notified via email and our Pima Sheriff X account. So once again, we don't have really any information about this. They did send out a tweet yesterday, which I thought was interesting. At the request of the Guthrie family, the Pima County Sheriff's Department will maintain a presence at Nancy Guthrie's residence for security. Media and the public are reminded to follow all traffic and private property laws. No trespassing is allowed on the Guthrie property. Violations are subject to enforcement. Once again, we'll go back out live there. I don't see any law enforcement. Doesn't mean they're not there, but this is certainly a different angle than what we had the other night. We had several angles the other night showing you guys updates on this. As I mentioned, the Fox flight team over the weekend, overhead, seeing some investigators surfacing this area right here, allegedly looking into a septic tank. So there's so much speculation. We saw videos from the Fox digital team as well saying there was some sort of briefcase, what's going on here. And then they said she was also at her other daughter's house, Annie Guthrie, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And her son-in-law's house as well. And they were saying investigators allegedly had gone inside for just under 2 hours, and it looked as though they were taking pictures. What exactly, what was going on there? We haven't heard any update on that. So it remains a mystery. The deadline has passed. The $6 million in Bitcoin, it looks like, has not been paid. And so there's been no video from Savannah and her family. There's been no update from what we're aware of from TMZ or any of the other local outlets in Tucson as to where Nancy Guthrie is. And something we even talked about here in the newsroom as well. We don't know exactly what sort of medication she needs specifically, but we do know that if she wasn't going to have it within 24 hours, that could be a serious problem. Is that diabetic? Does she need insulin? Is this heart medication problem? We don't know. But whoever has her, if they have tried to keep her alive, obviously, would either have had to have gone and gotten this type of medication or somehow gotten it from the residents as well. We don't know all that. So certainly a mystery. And honestly, the longer this thing has gone on, I think it's just been amazing to see that we don't really have any answers to this other than the videos that have come out and these alleged ransom notes. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'll continue to update this and see if there's anything now that the deadline is passed, and maybe we can circle back on it. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, I do want to get into the Epstein files, and I do want to get into an update about Ghislaine Maxwell, who is here in Texas in federal prison in Bryan. She had a deposition today, a scheduled deposition. Obviously didn't go the way a lot of people wished it had. So we'll take a quick break. You're watching Austin Live. Love seeing all the people in here. Welcome back to Austin Live on the Fox Local app. You can also watch us on YouTube Live as well. And as I mentioned last week, I'm also sort of doing this simulcast here with TikTok as well. So if you go to Alec on Fox 7 on TikTok, you can also watch there. If you find this view to not be your thing and maybe you'd rather be on your phone as well, you can certainly do that. But we just got done talking about Nancy Guthrie, the disappearance of the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. We are in the 9th day of this investigation and disappearance. We don't really have any answers other than we know Nancy Guthrie's blood was found at the front of the house. It is believed she was taken against her will and kidnapped. There have been ransom letters sent. $6 million in Bitcoin is being asked. And we do know that the second deadline just passed about an hour ago. So we don't know if that money has been paid, and we don't know anything about an update other than the video we got from Savannah earlier today, her daughter, saying, this is an hour of desperation. If anybody out there knows anything or has seen anything, please let us know. So that was a very different video than what we saw days prior, where she was talking to the alleged captors. This was a video to the public, to all of you out there, to say, hey, is there anything that anybody knows that could help us? So we'll continue to keep our eyes on it. I do want to get into the latest on the Epstein files. And if you want to talk about a rabbit hole and how deep you can get into something, this, I believe, might be the story of our time. I mean, it's just, there's so many layers to this thing. As I showed you guys last week, there's literal webs of connections and how people are related in this whole thing. And this goes on for years and years and years. Just more weird the more you get into it. But we thought maybe we would get some sort of an update today, because Ghislaine Maxwell had a scheduled deposition today to speak with the House Oversight Committee. And we do have that video. The Oversight Committee posted it on their Twitter account. I have it right here. As you can see, GOP Oversight. And so this was Ghislaine Maxwell. She's here in Texas. She's at the federal prison in Bryan. And we know in previous encounters she has talked with Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche for the Trump administration. But she's supposed to talk to the GOP Oversight Committee here, and we'll listen in as best we can. It's a little quiet. I'll try to turn up the volume, but this is Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth.
A close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein.
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, did you at any time play any role in Jeffrey Epstein's activities involving the recruitment, grooming, or trafficking of young women or girls?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, have you...
So she's going to keep doing this. This is Ghislaine Maxwell right here, this video from the House Oversight Committee, and Ghislaine Maxwell being asked about her relations with Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex trafficker, who obviously is dead now. But she's being asked about this. She was his longtime girlfriend, and she starts it right away with saying, I'm pleading the fifth because I don't want to do anything to self-incriminate. So they're going to keep asking her these questions, and you'll see it's just the same answer over and over.
Whoever coerced, directed, or otherwise instructed any young woman or girl to provide sexual favors to Mr. Epstein or any other individual?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, did you and Jeffrey Epstein attempt to surround yourselves with influential individuals to curry favor and shield yourselves from potential scrutiny?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
So I won't bore you guys with this, but this is just Ghislaine Maxwell here at this scheduled deposition with the House Oversight Committee. She's being asked about the convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and she just keeps saying, I invoke my Fifth Amendment rights, to not self-incriminate, which is totally her right to do, but she's not speaking, and no information being gathered from her today. But many out there, of course, on the political stage, believe she has a lot of answers to this and should answer to this. And I do want to bring up Jamie Raskin here. Jamie Raskin is a congressman from Maryland, Democratic congressman from Maryland. He came out today and said there's evidence some of the victims of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were as young as 9 years old. I know that may be difficult to hear. The ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee made his comments today after reviewing the Epstein files that have been released by the DOJ. The Democratic lawmaker says the number of redactions or blacked out information that many of you have seen out there in the files is a concern to him and other lawmakers. So I do want to show you some of the sound bites that Jamie Raskin had earlier. As I mentioned, very difficult to hear that. He believes that some of the victims may be as young as 9 years old. So this is him talking earlier
that
to
there
media.
were tons of completely I went over there and I was able to determine, at least I believe, that there were tons of completely unnecessary redactions in addition to the failure to redact the names of victims, and so that's troubling to us. I think that the Department of Justice has been in a cover-up mode for many months.
There you see there, Jamie Raskin, the congressman, saying he believes the Department of Justice is in a cover-up mode, and it's been going on for many months. So, this is quite explosive here from Congressman Jamie Raskin.
And has been trying to sweep the entire thing under the rug. And we need to be having hearings with the survivors to hear from them about their experiences so they can explain what happened and so they can begin to set forth a theory of what took place. We need to be investigating the money. We need to be investigating the organizational hierarchy. There's no way you run $1 billion international child sex trafficking ring with just two people committing crimes, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. No way. It doesn't work like that. So we need to figure out what other conspiracies were involved, what other co-conspirators were involved. And I really do believe that listening to the survivors is going to be our pathway through this nightmare. I'm just afraid that the general coarsening and degradation of American life has somehow conditioned people not to take this as seriously as we should be taking it. I mean, it's an incredibly serious thing. When you read through these files and you read about 15-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls, I saw a mention of a 9-year-old girl today. I mean, this is just preposterous and scandalous. So, I don't want to get into any particular case right now, but I hope the whole country is focusing on the absolute gravity of the crisis that we're in.
And you think the British are taking it?
So that was Congressman Jamie Raskin there talking. I'm seeing people here on TikTok ask about Nancy Guthrie. I believe the phone call that was initially made was Savannah calling Senator Mark Kelly, and then Mark Kelly was the one who reached out to the sheriff's department. It was a churchgoer who noticed Nancy hadn't been there. This person commenting, Chelsea, I don't know anything about what the pastor had to say about that. But I will look into that. We're talking about the Epstein files right now, of course. So that was Congressman Jamie Raskin talking, the Democrat. He's a ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. And as he said there, he doesn't believe to have this $1 billion sex ring thing going on, that it's only two people that can possibly be capable of this. He believes there are others involved and more people should be held accountable. As we know, the Justice Department has released 3.5 million pages of documents concerning the Epstein case, along with 180,000 images 2,000 videos. Epstein, of course, died back in 2019 at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan while awaiting trial, and many people also believe he did not kill himself as well. So that's a whole nother can of worms. We won't go down that path. But Ghislaine Maxwell scheduled deposition today, pleading the fifth, not saying anything, and then you have Congressman Jamie Raskin here saying it's total BS that only 2 people could have possibly been involved with this, and there are redacted names, there are blacked out names, and it's people of high authority, people that are well known, people that have power, that are being left out of this. And as he said there, he believes this is the DOJ being involved in a massive cover-up for months with this. So Jamie Raskin not holding back at all. I do want to also show you guys an update here from an Epstein survivor attorney. This is Sigrid McCauley, and she spoke earlier, basically speaking for the victims, because we know a lot of this redacted information had to do with the fact that they wanted to try and protect victims. At least that's what they told us.
That would help.
But if you listen here, this attorney, Sigrid McCauley, is basically saying, Ghislaine Maxwell has critical information that she can give us and help with this investigation, try and bring more clarity, closure to these victims, but we're not getting that. So we'll listen in to what the attorney McCauley has to say here.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell certainly has critical information that would help us understand exactly, what happened and who was there at varying times. Some of that we've been able to piece together through the information from other witnesses, et cetera, but she was definitely at the center of this. The problem is she will never tell the truth. So we saw that during the deposition that we took in my case several years ago, where she lied repeatedly time after time again. We saw that in her most recent interview with Todd Blanche with the government. She lied repeatedly, provably false things she was stating during that interview. So the problem with the attention to her and giving her a voice is that there is no truth in what she says.
Epstein. As you heard there, that was Sigrid McCauley talking there, saying, quote, "It is frustrating the government is giving an audience to Ghislaine Maxwell." And so Ghislaine Maxwell having that scheduled deposition today, deciding to plead the fifth. I showed you about 2 of the 3 minutes of that clip that the House Oversight Committee put out, and she just gave the same answer over and over and over. I do want to go over what I thought was the most interesting part from what McCauley said there. She says, "We saw that in her most recent interview with Todd Blanche with the government, she lied repeatedly, provably false things she was stating during that interview. So the problem with the attention to her and giving her a voice is that there is no truth in what she says." When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit more about this, and I actually want to take you guys to the Epstein library on the DOJ website. And I mean, it's just a total rabbit hole, and you can go down so many different paths. But there's something very interesting that happens if you look up a certain word, and we will get into that as well later on if we have time. I do want to show you guys a conversation I had with Daniel Wang, who is running for Texas House District 49, that super crowded race here in Austin. But Daniel Wang, very impressive, an MIT, Harvard grad, really smart guy, an attorney, and had some really interesting answers as well. We'll be right back. You're watching Austin Live. All right. Welcome back into Austin Live here on the Fox Local app. By some demand here on the TikTok Live, we've asked for some people, they want another recap of Nancy Guthrie. So once again, you can join us here on the Fox Local app, YouTube Live as well. We're also up live on TikTok. It kind of gives a different perspective. It's just me saying the same things. You're not going to get all the video and the sound there, but you'll get a closer view, I guess, and we can interact on here as well. So that's good to know. Let's just do a little recap. Once again, there was a second deadline set today, 5 o'clock Tucson time, which is, of course, 6 o'clock our time here in Texas. That deadline has passed more than an hour ago, and we don't have any update on if Savannah and her family have paid that $6 million through Bitcoin. TMZ was reporting nothing was in the Bitcoin account. Authorities do say they have growing concerns about Nancy Guthrie's health because she needs daily medication. Per the AP, Nancy is said to have had a pacemaker and has dealt with high blood pressure and heart issues, citing Sheriff's Dispatcher audio on broadcastify.com. So once again, as I mentioned, we don't know if she's got this medication, and her family was saying if it's not something she's taking daily, it could be life-threatening. We're entering day 9 of this situation. So whoever has her, still has her, if she is in fact alive, they would either have need to have grabbed that medication or somehow gotten it somewhere. I don't know, pharmacy, black market, who knows? They must have known that she needed it if they wanted to truly pull this thing off. Something we've heard from investigators as well, and TMZ specifically, Harvey Levin, who runs the whole thing, has said he believes that there's a local tie to it, because why would these alleged captors be emailing and messaging the local news stations of Tucson? It seems like something that a person familiar with the area would do. If something like that happened here and somebody was in Austin, they knew Fox 7, they've been around it, they would certainly contact them. But if you're coming from the outside in, it seems rather odd that you would contact the local news stations. Now, they eventually go and contact TMZ, and some people have questioned that. Why would they do that? If Savannah Guthrie is the Today Show co-host, why wouldn't they go to NBC? Why wouldn't they go to the Today Show with this? So I'm not quite sure. We don't have the answers to all of that. All we can tell you is that there have been allegedly multiple ransom notes sent out. They've had deadlines. The second video that Savannah and her family sent out was the one that was perceived as probably the most odd, and that Savannah, with both her siblings next to her, saying, we want to celebrate with her, the 84-year-old mother, Nancy. We don't know what that means. And then they said, this is important to us. Not like she's important to us, or we miss our mom, or we love our mom. I'm not going to criticize how anybody would deal with something like this. Obviously, the FBI negotiators are probably trying to coach them up a little bit and trying to humanize Nancy and make the captors realize, hey, this is a human being. You should talk to her. You know, you should hear what she has to say and sort of give it that human element. But other than that, odd to a lot of people. Why would she celebrate with her? I will once again show you guys the latest video from Savannah Guthrie. This was released earlier today. Very different. It doesn't look like she's talking to the captors here. She is talking to all of you out there and really calling this an hour of desperation. So we'll listen in once again. It's just about 2 minutes long.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation.
So as you heard there, Savannah Guthrie once again talking about her mother, Nancy Guthrie. Certainly a video different from what we heard earlier in terms of talking to the alleged captors. This was a message to the public. Hey, this is desperate. If you know anything, please let us know. Please tell us. We are searching for those answers. That deadline has passed. I don't have any update. I haven't seen anything in terms of, you know, what the situation is, what the latest is. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said an hour ago they have not identified any suspects or persons of interest or vehicles connected to Nancy Guthrie. Then before that, just a couple minutes before that, they said there are no press briefings scheduled at this time regarding Nancy Guthrie. Should a significant development occur, a press conference will be called and media will be notified. Once again, we still do have, it looks like, a live look there from outside the house. And sun's starting to come down a little bit over there. I don't see any movement. We have just seen a few people walk by with their dogs. No movement in terms of vehicles. It's certainly a different scene than what we saw last week, especially, I believe it was Wednesday, when things started to heat up and we saw a lot of police activity. And we even had a live reporter out there who was telling us that the investigators had come back in to allegedly come in and grab some more, perhaps, evidence. And then there was also talk that they were moving to the sister's house as well. And there were early rumors early on that perhaps the sister and her husband, Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, may have been somehow involved in all this, but that's never been confirmed by Pima County Sheriff's Department or any other major outlets to our knowledge. But it's certainly something that Fox has kept an eye on. TMZ really has had everything on this. We saw the Fox flight team overhead. And some people here on the TikTok Live also asking about that septic tank. We believe they investigated that as well, but still, deadline has passed. No money has been exchanged. They did say they wanted to pay, but as far as we know, there is no update, and there's been no proof of life either. And we thought maybe we would have something to that effect. So we're going to take another final break, I believe. When we come back, we'll get back into those Epstein files a little bit. And if you're watching us here on the TikTok Live and there's something else you want to talk about, let me know. I'll try and coordinate as best I can. But everybody that's joined us on here, I certainly appreciate it. We hope you continue to come back. And if you want to watch this and the Fox Local as well, just download the Fox Local app. For all of you out there, it's very easy. Download the Fox Local app and just hit Austin and you can watch us there as well. Or if you like YouTube, you can do YouTube Live. Talking in multiple screens here. Losing my mind. We'll be right back. not a robot. All right, we are back here on Austin Live. I know that was a bit of a long break there. We were just trying to get the Department of Justice page up. And I want to show you guys this because this is easy to do. I mean, it's public information. There are millions of documents out there. But I know I teased this a little bit. We have talked about the Epstein files. We talked about Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth, not wanting to talk to the House Oversight Committee today. But I did want to get into something very strange. And there's been a lot of people that have talked about, remember for years it was Pizzagate and something with code word pizza, and what did that really mean, and what was going on at the high levels here? Well, I had a friend who actually reached out to me and said, hey, this might be something you want to look at. Search jerky on the Epstein files. We're doing that literally live right now, okay? This gets very strange, very quick. We'll pull up this document here. I don't know if you guys can see this. We don't know who it's from. Once again, there's so many redacted names in all of this. And it says, subject, jerky, to Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone. He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He is working at a restaurant called Cannibal and cooks, wait for it, beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. tomorrow if this is okay with you. So we don't know who this email is from, but it is to Jeffrey Epstein saying Francis, a chef, is going to show them how to make jerky. This was sent at 12:55 a.m., the subject being jerky. Strange. There is more of this. Once again, go on the Epstein library. You can easily search this, okay? Here's another document. Subject, once again, beef jerky to Francis. The chef being mentioned again. Hi, blank. J.E., who we assume is Jeffrey Epstein, is asking to bring home more beef jerky on Friday. Are you also flying in on Friday? If not, I would like to collect it from you and take with me on the plane. Please let me know. Thanks, Karina. What is with the beef jerky? What is going on here? Okay. I'll try to find the other one. And I mean, there's just really strange. Here it is. This is the one. From Francis Derby. So now we get the last name of who this alleged chef is here, okay? Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. That said, he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer for his next trip. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Any other questions, please let me know. Thank you, Francis. And then there's some redacted information here. Francis J. Derby. So naturally, you're thinking, who is Francis Derby? I'll show it to you in real time. Oh, misspelled that there. Chef Francis Derby. Private site. The site is currently private. Interesting. It wasn't yesterday. I literally just looked that up yesterday. That is weird. That is strange. Okay, so here's another picture of him here. Francis Derby, and had worked at places in Los Angeles, New York. Looks like to be nice restaurants. Certainly strange. He was on Good Day LA as well. We saw him. I saw a video of him yesterday showing stuff. I don't know why this site is all of a sudden private. That's really interesting. I don't know if it's just his computer, but I'm telling you, I looked it up on my phone yesterday, and you could see this. And it had a description of what he does. This is another picture of him. Allow all. The restaurant being called Cannibal has certainly made people think, what the hell is going on? Could be just a weird coincidence, of course. I want to run through more of these and see. We got about 5 minutes left here. Just really strange stuff. Really strange stuff. Here's another one. To Jeffrey Epstein. Subject, once again, jerky. This is, a lot of these emails are 2012, 2013. Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone? Oh, we already saw that. This is a different data set. Here we go. Please read below from Francis. This is November 20th, 2012. Subject, once again, jerky. To Jeffrey Epstein. I will come to teach a jerky class, and we can also cover chocolate cream pie if you can agree to pay me through this pay period. So I would then receive my last full paycheck on the 29th of this month. So I don't know, was Jeffrey Epstein hosting cooking classes with this guy, Francis Derby, who's the chef at Cannibal? I don't know. We do know he's a Long Island native. This is an article about him here on the North Forker. It says he was born and raised in Bellport and is now heading up food operations for the popular seaside restaurant. In this new role, which he's held since May, Derby is heading up the Halyards menu and on-site catering, plus the piano bar. Once again, I can't say 100% certainty that this is the guy, but this is the guy that has been associated with working at a restaurant called Cannibal, and this is Francis Derby. So you put the dots together there. Once again, you just go through this data set and searching the word jerky, and I know this sounds silly to some of you, but it's just very, very strange stuff in looking at this. And you know, saying that Jeffrey Epstein is eating this is all he has. Here's a good one. Recipe, 2 pounds of jerky. This is all I have, unfortunately. I don't know what kind of meat he was using, but Steve should know if you are not sure either. All the names redacted here. All of the names. Why? So strange. There's another one in here too. I'll try to find it. It's just weird stuff, man. I'm not finding it. There's so many data sets. Oh, here we go. To Jeffrey Epstein from Steve Hansen. This is Friday, This is August 17th, 2012. Subject, beef jerky. From Steve Hansen to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeff, old saying, dog ate my homework, and well, my dog ate the beef jerky. I was looking for the beef jerky as I knew it was in my suitcase and then thought maybe I left it at the beach only to find the small plastic bag near my dog's bed, hence, no beef jerky. I'll email Francis to make us some more as I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab. And I'll forward Francis the info to send to the lab directly. I'll try you later today, Stephen Hansen. What does that mean? I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab, and I'll forward Francis the info to send to the lab directly. I mean, like I said, this is just, it gets into a really, really strange rabbit hole. We have detected what? What's going on? What's going on with the live here? Whoa. There we go. Anyway, you can go down that rabbit hole all day. And I know a lot of you out there probably think it's crazy and what the hell is the jerky have to do with anything? I get it. But you search that word, should be making more jerky, question. Should who? Why is this name redacted? Jeffrey Epstein. From who? We don't know. This is November 2013. Why is that name redacted? Should blank be making more jerky? Odd. So odd. They make it really difficult to search this whole thing, don't they? There's just so many messages with jerky. I mean, look at all of this. Here we go. He does not like what he made last time. I'm sure someone over there will like some jerky then. Winky face. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. What? Strange. This is strange. And all the names redacted here. Anyway, we'll continue to monitor this stuff. Obviously, what's going on with the House Oversight Committee. If you're just joining us, Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth, not wanting to talk to Congress and saying she doesn't want to do anything to self-incriminate herself, which is her constitutional right to do, obviously. But she did, to our knowledge, talk with Todd Blanche, but she's not talking to Congress here. But it sounds like she wants clemency. And she wants to know that if she is going to talk about this stuff, she'll be okay. But she is still here in Texas at the federal prison in Bryan. And so, oddly enough, not too far from we are here. And we'll continue to monitor that situation. And we're going to continue to hear more information from a lot of these congressmen out there who are very upset. Jamie Raskin, the Democratic congressman, saying there could be victims as young as 9 years old. Just a puzzling story that has lasted a very long time. I will leave you with that, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. You're watching Austin Live.